And I think we have our title. Nice. That's really, really cool. All right, so in today's video, I'm going to show you how to add a title or some text to video in Premiere. This is a really good way to add some production value to your videos, but today we're just going to do this only in Premiere. We're not going to go into After Effects because this is going to be a speed thing, so we want to get this done quickly. And we're even going to add a little bit of effects to it as well. So let's open up Premiere and let's take a look at, so what I want to do here is I'm going to add this text in right when Jess turns her face to the camera. So let's start right around here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit T on my keyboard, or you can also just select the text tool or the type tool over here. And then I'm just going to click somewhere around where I think I want the text to go. And I'm just going to put Jessica just for the sake of the video, just to make this quick. So now we've got her name here. It's created a layer on the timeline, which is cool. And then when we activate that layer down here, over in our effect controls panel, we're going to see this little text area pop up, which is perfect. So just hit the little drop down, then you'll see all the text options. So that's what we want to get to. Now, if you're not seeing effect controls, make sure to go up to Window and then just select effect controls, and you'll see that sub window pop up, or the panel. So what we want to do now is we want to style this a little bit. I don't like this font. This is the default font that comes out of Premiere when you add some text. I don't really like it. Let's make it something that matches the video. In this case, let's do this one. That works just fine for me. So, and again, this is just for the sake of an example, but let's just do this. That's pretty good for me. I just scaled it up right over here. Now I'm going to hit V on my keyboard, and I'm going to be able to move this around a little bit. So that's good. And now what I want to do is just add a little bit of motion and a little bit of scaling to this. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. So what I want is I want this to wind up around here. So this is how I usually work, is I'll find where do I want it to end up, and then I sort of work backwards. So I want it to end up around here. So that means that if I go into my clip up here, I'm actually going to create a keyframe here. So if I hit this little stopwatch on the position, that'll give me a keyframe where I want the text to end up, which is perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go backwards, and I'm going to hit I'm going to hit the little keyframe icon here. And now that's going to allow me to create a little bit of motion with the position. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm actually going to move this way. So I just taken the slider, I'm just moving it this way. So now if we hit play, the text is going to move over. Perfect. That might be a little slow, so what I'm going to do is just move this keyframe over here. So it's moving a little quicker now. Perfect. Now another little trick is I'm actually going to highlight both of these and right click them, and I'm actually going to go down to this drop down, and I'm not doing temporal interpolation because I'm a scientist, and I'm going to hit ease out, and that's going to allow it to, you know what, ease in. Let's see what ease in does. That's actually probably better. There, that's better. Perfect. So it's going to ease into that transition. Perfect. So now what we want to do is actually want to add a little bit of a blur effect to this. So I'm going to go into my effects panel, and I'm going to type blur, and let's just take this Gaussian blur, and drag it onto our clip. So now we've got, if we go back into effect controls, we'll find our blur. So that's perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over here, and to this keyframe, I'm going to hit my stopwatch on blurriness, and I'm going to put it at 0 because we want it to end at 0 blur. And then I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to add some blur. So let's just say we want about, I don't know, 30. Let's say we want about 30. That sounds good. So let's do the same thing here where we're going to ease in, and let's see what kind of little effect we can get here. Oh, that's nice. It's just subtle, but you don't need a lot. You know, oftentimes people just go a little too crazy with this stuff. This is really subtle and really nice, and we didn't even have to go outside of Premiere to do this, right? Which is the nice part too. So just saves you time. And then I think the last thing we're gonna do, you can obviously do the keyframes with opacity, but let's just Control D or Command D, and just to add, sorry, I hit plus there if you want to do that as well. Command D on the front, Command D on the back. We're just gonna fade it in. Nice. Now whether or not that stays in this video probably doesn't, but just for the sake of this. And then another cool thing that we can do, just to give it a little extra, something extra, we could blur it out as well. So I'm going to take this keyframe, I'm going to hit copy, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm actually going to hit paste right on the end. And it's going to go from here, and it's going to slowly blur out, but actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at 100 for a little, or at 0 for a little while. So let's do another keyframe here. Let's set that to 0. And it's just going to stay fully unblurred for a while, and then it'll start to blur out. There, that's cool. That's cool. And then if we wanted to at the same time as well, we could copy this keyframe, paste it over here, and copy, sorry, go here and add a keyframe. So we want, actually what we want to do is we want to copy this keyframe. And another little trick, if you hit Alt and then drag over something, I'm hitting Alt, dragging, it gives you a copy of it. Or you can of course go Control C, come over here, Control V. And so what that is going to do is it's going to give us, we're at this number 960 right here. And then when we come over here, we're still going to be at 960, and then it's going to move. That's perfect. So actually, let's just make these go all the way to the end. And I think we have our title. Nice. That's really, really cool. So hopefully this was helpful today. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do this stuff, but I find this is one of the most efficient ways if you just want to stay in Premiere and get the job done quickly. If you have any suggestions on ways that you think you could do this even faster or more efficiently, leave those in the comments and I might share those in a future video. And if you have any questions regarding what we covered today, leave those in the comments as well, and I usually try to respond to everybody. That's it for this one, and I'll see you on the next one.